Hunter. I didn't hear Hunter throwing stones at anybody else, though. Save that for last. Yeah, it's a big year for me. I turned 50. Cost me every hair on my head, but I got there. Thanks again, Hunter. Fellow inductees, awesome. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. Voting members and board of directors of the Hall of Fame, thanks very much. Larry Pope for nominating me. Great honor. Hunter mentioned I started surfing when I was 10 years old. I actually wanted to start surfing when I was 7, but my mother was adamant that I would not surf. I lived down the street from a pretty rough beach, and she wanted me to have nothing to do with that. So I begged her and begged her. It took me 2 years. She finally, in her motherly way, said, "God damn it, Bobby, you can start surfing, but we're not buying you a surfboard." Well, they couldn't really afford a surfboard, so and she thought that finished the story the same way, that what 10-year-old can get a surfboard. But I worked for about 3 weeks cutting lawns, and I got my first surfboard for $25, which was, it put me on my way. It was the best thing I had ever seen. It was a 5'7" round tail with orange bottom, yellow top, blue pin line, and I remember it like it's still in front of me. In retrospect, it was the biggest piece of shit I ever rode. But it got me going. It was homemade. It wasn't anything you did. I love your stuff. So I was on my way. I was totally stoked. My friends and I in junior high and high school, that's all we did. We ate, drank, slept it. We lived it. It was amazing. I did start competing, and yeah, it was a surprise to do pretty well, and I had a good time in the ESA. Great organization, incredible times up in Cape Hatteras, a lot of really good trips. Ricky Carroll's back there. We have the world land speed record for a trip from Cocoa Beach to Cape Hatteras, something like 8 hours. In Ricky's Barracuda. Had 2 pipes coming out the side, but it only had a 6-cylinder engine. We gave it anyway. Ricky's still keeping the dream alive. Custom surfboards made in the USA. So I had some fun in the ESA, and after I did pretty well, I thought I've got to get myself some more free surfboards. So I went and saw Pt2 in Satellite Beach at Natural Art, and I was pretty much just a punk kid. He already had a pretty good stable of guys, which started with Greg Lower, who is, I'm sure he's lurking here somewhere. He's about 56 years old, a little tall. He's eaten more Twinkies than anyone else in this building. Greg lives in Arizona. I'm sure everybody knows and loves Greg. I saw him surf 2 or 3 years ago. Still amazing. Absolutely amazing. Still ripping. Congratulations, Greg. Also on that team were Chris Birch, keeping the American craftsmanship alive. Mike Nimnick, great artist. Mike Notary made great balsa wood fins. My friend Lance Crouch, and late great Buddy Pelletier. We had a lot of good times. We won a lot of team events. We had traveled together quite a bit. Absolutely awesome times. Pete and Debbie were the most giving, generous people probably I was ever associated with. Helped me out tremendously. Pete brought me into the retail business, gave me a job, moved me into surfboard production, where I started at hot coats and finished shaping. Paid for me to go to France, the Caribbean, countless times. Got a few pictures in the magazine from it. One trip went so well, Pete decided we should go back the next year. And most people come back from Barbados with a good tan and a bottle of rum. I came back with a wife. Buddy Pelletier and I split a really, really big bottle of rum. Anyway, that might have been the best thing that ever happened to me. Tess? So Tess, born and raised in Barbados, came back to America, knew absolutely nobody. I knew a fair amount of people at that time, and I was very busy trying to get in the industry and do what I could do. So she was, for about 6 months, known as Bob Rohmann's wife. About 6 months. And at that time, things flip-flopped, and I've been known as Tess Rohmann's husband for the last 28 years. But that's a good thing. I noticed right away when I met Tess, it was love at first sight, pretty much. But she, from the Caribbean, she had these childbearing hips. But she popped me out a couple good boys right away. Robert and Brandon, my two sons, they're awesome. Robert's a very good surfer also, much better than I ever was, but probably the first time I've admitted that to him. Brandon doesn't surf, but we love him anyway. Robert also has a girlfriend named Ariane that they made me a grandfather last year. We're, needless to say, really happy with that. Yes. Same year I met Tess, I actually started working for Quicksilver. They took me on as the East Coast surf team manager and marketing liaison. It was really the first time any West Coast company had done anything like that. So I kind of worked my way into their business from that. I worked into sales after a while, and it's been absolutely amazing. I started there in 1983, just coincidentally, same time Tess and I got married, and it's been just the best group of people to be associated with. I've met so many good people, worked with so many good people over the years. It's really been a blessing, and they really are my extended family. They support me through good times and bad. They've always given me the opportunity to excel, move into different businesses with them, and keeping it real for me. They're also a big supporter of surfing in general, so Quicksilver family. Love you guys. Keeping it real. I have some friends here. I'll just call out just a couple people real quick. My sister Bev came all the way from Seattle to see me. The first year I surfed, winter came. I didn't really know what to make of that, but I had a sweatsuit from gym class. And it wasn't pre-wetsuits, but wetsuits were in their infancy, and I wore that sweatsuit surfing. It didn't work out. So I probably mentioned something to Bev, who got me my first wetsuit for my birthday next year, so thanks, Bev. She's also the only one in my family that ever really understood what I was maybe trying to do with surfing and supported it. My parents were kind of not so in the loop. Didn't believe it'd ever go anywhere and make much of it. They all kind of wanted me down at the local plant doing the local thing, so I always bucked the system and try and make it happen, which didn't turn out too bad, so we'll see how it goes. I got two friends here actually I got a lot of friends here from high school, but two friends, not in the industry, Poncho and Buster, drove 3 hours apiece just to come see me say hello. Thanks, guys. The most important thing about the whole experience in the life for me has been the friendships that I've made along the way. I've been so blessed with absolutely the best people around me, the best friends I could ask for. Thanks for coming out. Love you guys.